respected organizers, expert speakers, and learned audience. Very warm welcome to all of you, and I extend my greetings to all of you. I am Dr. Minakshi, MD in Rasashastra and Bhashajya Kalpana from Rajiv Gandhi Government Ayurvedic College, Paprola, and I am currently working as an Ayurvedic medical officer in District Civil Hospital, Ambala, that is from Haryana, and I'm in practice since last 12 years. And today I'm before you to present my topic, role of Sneha in the management of Asthi Majjagat Vyadhi with special reference to osteoporosis. So let's begin. Firstly, we see the purview of the spectrum of Asthi Majjagat Vyadhi. So the disorders affecting bones, joints, articular tissue, just a moment. So all the disorders affecting bones, joints, articular tissues, joint supports, bone marrow, and nervous tissue come under the spectrum of Asthi Majjagat Vata. Now, the Purish Dhara Kala is functionally equally to Asthi Dhara Kala by Dalhan. So, any anomaly in the Pakwashay directly leads to Vat Prakop, Malasanchay, and eventually body aches and joint pain start. And there is a unique relationship between Asthi and Vat. Asthi is a seat of Vat. So, Asthi acts as an ashray and Vat acts as ashray. Now, the disorders of teeth, nails, hairs, and hair follicles are also attributable due to the undernourishment of Asthi Dhatu. Then the causes of Asthigat Vikara, we have the two types of Nidan, Aharaj and Viharaj. In Aharaj, we have the predominance of the Vata prokoping food in our diet, like excessive consumption of Luksh, Laghu, Tikt Ahar, excessive use of Tikt Ras Dravya. And then we have similarly the excessive use of exercises, irregular intense exercise, irregular scheduling, rock climbing, and such kind of intense activities or uncontrolled movements, they lead to the ultimately prakopa of the Vatvikar. Then the definition of the osteoporosis. It's a bone disease that is characterized by low bone mass and structural deterioration of bony tissue. That leads to the fragile bones and increased risk of fractures. So prevalence, it is most common among the elder adults, but particularly the postmenopausal women, but it can affect anyone at any age of time. Now the risk factors, mainly age, gender, most commonly female, family history, low body weight, excess any kind of smoking, alcohol consumption history, and any kind of certain medications like glucocorticoids, this certainly definitely increase the risk of osteoporosis. Then we have the increased risk. These are the consequences of osteoporosis, that they ultimately cause the increased risk of fractures, particularly in the spine, hips, and wrist joint. And they often result from minor falls, or even the normal activities often lead to such kind of fractures that are the pathological fractures due to the weakness of bone. Then what impact do they have on our health? They can lead to chronic pain, disability, reduced quality of life, and in severe cases, increased mortality. Also, they have economic burden. There are significant healthcare costs associated with such kind of problems related to and their treatments. So they bear all kind of multidimensional burden on our society too. Then the osteoarthritis and Ayurveda, particularly osteoporosis disease, it can cause increased porosity of the bone, which can directly be considered as asthi. But this is not mentioned as a separate disease entity, but as a symptom of Majja Dhatu Kshay. So it will be considered as a disease that is characterized by localization of vitiated vata in Asthi Dhatu. And ultimately, Asthigat Vata results in the Asthi that is osteoporosis. Now we have two types of Asthi. The one that is Kalaj and the other is Akalaj. Kalaj means that is occurring due to normal course of time, and Akalaj that is occurring prematurely. So the Kalaj Asthi that is due to the normal age factor, it occurs due to Swabhavik Kal, and it is well treated with Rasayan and Swayoni Dravya. Likewise, the Akalaj Asthi, it occurs due to Vata Prakop, Nidan, Sevan, and Poshan Abhav. And it can be managed with the help of Panchakarma, Bhashaj, and Tikta Kshir Basti. And if we talk about the prognosis, the akalaj asthi is sukh sadhya and kalaj is kashta sadhya. Then we have the such kind of disease, asthi majjagat vikar. We have the conditions and the features associated with them. In majja, in asthi dhatu kshay, we have asthi shul, sandhi shathilya, the fatigue, hair fall, dullness of nails and teeth, likewise spontaneous kind of fractures. And asthi vriddhi can lead to adhyasthi, that is the growth of abnormal bony prominences in spurs, osteophytes, etc. And we have adhidant, then we have calcification, bone fusion, and excessive hair growth in case of asthi vriddhi. And in asthi pradoshaj vikar, when the whole asthi dhatu is dushit, we get features like asthi bhed, dant shul, kesh, lom, nak, shamshru rog, all kind of disease related to the beard, mustache, hair fall, asthi shul, vivarnata, any kind of adhyasthi or adhidant. Then the lakshan of asthi avrit vat, because the vata prakop can occur due to two reasons. That is, one due to kshay and other is maybe due to the avran avastha. So when the asthi is avrit by the vat, then we have the following features like tushan, that is the increased desire for hot touch. Pidan abhinandati, that is the pain is relieved when the patient is massaged. Then the vat and majja, they are the structural and functional elements of asthi. Vata and Majja are two different entities and having opposite qualities, but they similarly complement each other. And the Khar Gun of Vat and the Snigdha Gun of Majja, they retain the hard bony structure and easy movement of the entire, they simply facilitate the easy movement of the entire body. Then we have two kind of Nidan or the etiology of the Majjagat Vikar, that are the extrinsic factors and intrinsic factors. Extrinsic factors are the factors that are affecting from the outside. These are the agantuj hetu. We have utpeshad and abhighatat. Utpeshad means the compression injuries or that are the disc prolapse. And similarly, abhighatat means what these are due to any kind of trauma, external trauma. And in Nij Hentu, that are the intrinsic factors, we have Abhishendat, means the excessive consumption of Abhishendi Ahar, like the examples are curd. And the Viruddha Ahar Sevan, that is the incompatible food combination, they can ultimately lead to the Vat Prakop in our body. Then the manifestation of Majja Dhatugat Vikar are Majja Kshay, Vridhi, Majja Pradoshaj Vikar, and Majja Avrit Vyavat. In Majja Kshay, the commonly encountered features are weakness of bones, that is the asthi durbalta, pratat vat rogi, the patient always encounters any kind of vatic problems, alp shukrata, low libido, asthi saushirya, parv bhed, pain of joint, and timir darshan, any kind of hollowness or any kind of giddiness. Then we have Majja Vriddhi, that is the Sarvanga Gaurav and Netra Gaurav, heaviness in body and eyes. In Majja Pradoshaj Vikar, we have Ruk Parvana, means joint aches badly, Murcha, Bhram, Tamdarshan, and Arunshika in Sthul Parv, the eruption of small carbuncles on the joints. In Majja Avritvat, we have the Jrimbha, Pariveshtan, that is the feeling of contraction in whole body. And when the patient is pressing his body with hands, pain gets relieved. Now the Chikitsa Sutra of Asthi Majjagat Vikar. The first and foremost principle is Bahya Abhyantartah Sneh Asthi Majjagatam Jait, means snehas. Four types of snehas we do have: ghee, tel, vasa, majja. They have a vital role in preventive as well as curative aspect. Internal and external use of all the four sneha, either alone or in combination, are the best treatment for all kind of asthi majja gat vikar. And then we have second principle, that is the use of madhur tikta anna and the yatha kal and yatha matra shuddhi, means the detoxification of body as per the timing, as per the season, and as per the strength of the patient. We must indulge in purification processes. Then we'd have another sutra, that is Asthyashrayanam Vyathinam Panchakarmani Bheshajam Vasteh Kshir Sarpishi Tiktophitani Cha, means all kind of disease that are manifested in asthi, Panchkarma is the best treatment available. Similarly, we can use Tikt Kshir Vasti, means medicated milk-based Vasti and medicated Tikt Dravya Ras Siddh Ahar Vihar. And if the Vat dosh is nirupastam, means it is not associated with any other kind of disease and it is not associated with any kind of avaran avastha, then sneh is the best treatment to begin with. Snehpan is the best treatment. And then there are free prerequisites before sneh administration. There are few criteria that has to be fulfilled before administering any kind of Ghrit Kalpana. That is the Deept Agni and Sroto Shodhana. Deept Agni means the appetite of the person must be very strong. That is, he should be able to digest all kind of ghee, and the Sroto Shodhana means all the srotas, all the channels should be clearly clarified. Then always we have to keep few things in our mind before administering Snehpan, either in Shodhan Matra or in Shaman Matra. We have to see three conditions. That is, we have to perform the Deepan first, Pachan, and then the Ruksh Aushadhi. They are administered to achieve Deept Agni and Sroto Shodhan. And thereafter, after achieving these two criteria, then we can begin the administration of Ghrit Pan. Now, the attributes of Sneh Dravya, how Sneh Dravya act in our body in case of osteoporosis. By virtue of the Snigdha Guna, they are Vatahar, Kafahar, and Vrisha. So they bring the Snehan, Kledan, and Vishyandan at cellular level. By the Guruta, they promote anabolism. Shitata promotes the cooling impact to the body. Drav means it moists body, spreads all over the body, and Pichita provides integrity and firmness. Similarly, Suksham Gun brings quick action and assimilates rapidly. Likewise, the softness quality, it reduces the stiffness of body. Mandata, by the virtue of mandata, it diffuses slowly and it takes longer time in contact with the dosha, dhatu and malans. Likewise, Sargun mobilizes doshas and malans. That is, it is easily to remove the waste products out of the body. Then we have Chaturvid Sneh Prayog. That are, we have four kind of sneha, that are ghee, tel, vasa and majja. Ghit is known to be Vat Pitta property. Tel is known to be having Vat Kaf properties. Vasa and majja are both Vathar in action. Ghee is best due to the Sanskar Anuvartan property. That is, due to the its sneh gun, it causes the pacification of the Vat dosha. By virtue of sheath property, it is Pitta Shaman in nature, and due to its sanskar, it is having Kaf Har property. Tel and Vat, they have the Viruddha qualities, they have the Viruddha attributes, so they are very easily, they antagonist each other. And then the Satatam Abhyas, the continuous practice of these Chaturvid Sneh ultimately leads to the alleviation of Vata dosha from our body. Then if we look at the dosh prabhav of these Chaturvid Sneh, we see that these kind of sneh, ghee, tel, vasa, majja, they are uttarottar kaf, vat, shamak. Means tel is the best kaf, vat, shamak and ghee is the best pitta, shamak. So if we need to have the pitta, shamak property, we will select the sarpi, and if we want to have the kaf, har property, we'll go for tel. Then types of sneha on the basis of matra and their therapeutic role. If we see, there are three types of sneha: Shodhan sneha, Shaman sneha, and Brihan sneha, according to the matra, according to their dosage. And the timing of administration is also varies. So if we look for the Shodhan sneha, it is meant to be used Keval sneha to be taken after digestion of the previous food. That means it has to be taken early in the morning. For Shodhan purpose, if we are supposed to take any kind of sneh, we have to take it early morning, and moreover in uttam matra, that is the most strongest dose. And if we go to the shaman sneha, that is at the time of intense hunger, it has to be consumed. If the patient is hungry, he should eat the ghee or tel first and then he'll have the food, so that it is best digested and it will act as a shaman sneha and the dose will be madhyam. Likewise, in Brihad Sneha, we want to have any kind of nourishment activity, then we have to take it along with the food, that too in very low dose. Then the timing of Sneha administration according to the dosha sthana. if we have to treat the roga of the adhokai, means the below the navel, we have to take the food before, we have to take the sneha before the food. And if the dosha is situated in pitta sthana or the madhyam kaya roga, then we have to consume the sneha in between the food. And if we have to treat the disorders above the nabhi, above the navel, or the urdhav jatrughat roga, the diseases pertaining above the clavicle, then we have to take the sneha after the food. Then the mode of sneha administration, how we can use these kind of sneha. We can have both the modalities. Either we can use them orally, or we can use them topically or externally. Orally, we can use in 3 types, as we have already just now seen. That we can use it in Brihand Snehipan, we can use it as a Shaman Snehipan, and we can use it as a Shodhan Snehipan to purify the body. And then as an external topic or in the topical application, we can use it in the form of Abhyangam, in the form of Nasyam as a lay, Dhara, Parishek, Vasti Prayog, Sthanik Vasti like Kati Vasti, Griva Vasti, Janu Vasti. Then the Mudh Tel, 4 types, Shirodhara, Shiro Abhyang, Shiro Vasti. Then we have Akshitarpan, Gandush, Karna Puran, and Talam. All these kind of Panchkarma procedures, they require the administration of Sneha in form of external or topical application. Then if we talk about the essential drug list, total 277 Ayurvedic drugs are included in the essential drug list of Ayurveda, and out of them, around 32 oil preparations are included and 15 grith preparations are included in our EDL list. Now we see this sutra, that is Nasti Tailat Param Kinchit Aushadham Marutapaham Vivai Ushan Guru Sneha Sanskarat Balvattaram. In short, it states that to pacify the Vad dosha, there is nothing more superior than the use of the oil. Then here is a few critical analysis of certain tel yogas. We can classify tel according to their virya, vipak, and ras also. We have Ushan virya kind of oils like Kautam Chukadi tel, Vishagarab tel containing Kuchla, Vishmushti tel, and Chinchadi tel. These Ushan virya oil are indicated in Kafaj Vyadhi, Kaf Anubandh Vat Vyadhi, acute and chronic cervical disc prolapse, osteoarthritis with pain, degenerative arthropathy, and calcaneal spur. So we have to choose, we have to be very selective while choosing the oil depending upon the virya of the Aushad, virya of the oil, like which kind of oil we have to use. If the patient is having Pitta Prakriti or in any kind of summer season, or if he has got very allergic skin, very sensitive skin, that we should be very carefully select, we should not select Ushan virya oil, rather we should go for any kind of Sheet virya oil. So this is the criteria of selection. Then in Ushan Brihand Tel, these are the oils preparation which are Ushan at the same time nourishing also. Ushan Brihand Tel, we have Mahamash Tel, Kapas Asthyadi Tel, Prasaranyadi Tel, and Prabhanjanam Tel. And these are indicated for osteoarthritis in lean patient, chronic degenerative bone disease, scoliosis, kyphosis, rigidity, spasticity, sciatica with paresthesia, and lumbar disc prolapse. Likewise, these are the list of Sheet Virya Telas. They are having very Sheet Virya, so they can be easily administered in Ushan Virya Prakriti, in Grisham Ritu, in summer season. These are the Chandanadi Tel, Murivedna Tel, Bala Dhatriyadi Tel, Bala Hatadi Tel, Manjisthadi Tel, Gandh Tel, and Pind Tel. These are indicated in vasovagal attacks, bhram, sleeplessness, hyperirritability, generalized anxiety disorders. Then we have the Sheet and Brihand, they are cool as well as nourishing in nature. These are the Narayan Tel. Mostly it contains Shatavari. Mahanarayan Tel, Shatavari is the main content. Kshir Bala Tel, Madhuyashti Adi Tel. And they are mainly indicated in gouty arthritis, autoimmune disease, connective tissue disorders, SLE, systemic lupus erythematosus, any kind of burning neuropathies and neuritis where we have to where we have to pacify the Pitta dosha. We'll go for the Sheet oils. Then we have some Sheet Ushan Tel. These are the oils which are neither hot and they are neither cold. So we have Dhanvantaram Telam, which is mainly indicated for osteoporosis, osteopenia, and Asthi Dhatu Kshay. Then we have Bala Ashwagandhadi Lakshadi Tailam. It is indicated for involuntary movement disorders, seizures, and wasting disorders. Then Anu Tel, it is mainly used as a nasya, as a shaman nasya nitya upyogi, that is, it can be used daily and it prevents the cervical spondylosis, strengthens muscles of shoulder. Then we have Sahacharadi Tel. It can be used for chronic rheumatism and jerky movements of the body. Then they have the for Anuvasan Vasti, we have, these are the common oils, commonest, or the Anuvasan Vasti. We have Sahacharadi oil. It is indicated for neurological extrapyramidal pathology. Then we have Madhuyashti Adi Tel. It is useful for rheumatic spectrum. Mahasneham for nutritional and muscle specific oil. Kshirbala Telam used in rheumatic arthritis, mixed connective tissue disorders. Then we have Lakshadi oil. It is mainly used in the osteoporosis. Now we talk about the Ghrith administration. So whenever we have to go for the internal Ghrith administration, we need to administer Kashai, Churan, and any kind of asa for at least 7 to 10 days just to kindle the Jatharagni and Dhatvagni. Otherwise, if we are having a weak appetite or the low appetite, then we won't be able to digest the Ghrith preparation. So it's firstly advisable to kindle your Dhatvagni and Jatharagni first. So after Ghrith administered Samanya Samyak Langhan Lakshan in Koshtha, then it should be administered in the Vata Pitta stage. We have to select ghee in Vata Pitta stage and the oils in the Kapha Vata disorders. Now, these are the common Ghrith formulations which are available and that can be used very commonly. These are Gugul Tikth Ghritam. It is mainly used for osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, gouty arthritis, peripheral neuritis. It is used in Anuvasan Vasti for osteoporosis, the asthi. And then any kind of thick dravyas, they will enhance the mass of the bone. So they are very well indicated in any kind of osteoporosis. Then the Dhanvantar Ghrith, it is mainly used for the arthritis, seizures, diabetic neuropathies. And these ghee and oil preparations are very commonly available. Mahasneham, they are the combination of all the 4 snehas, ghee, tel, vasa, majja. And they are indicated in the motor neuropathy, Alzheimer's, and demyelinating disorders. Then we have the Rasna Dashmuladi Ghrith. This is indicated in cerebellar degeneration, arthritis of hip, sarvang, vat, pakshaghat, and it is useful in pan, nasya, vasti upyog. Then we have Vidyaradi Ghrith. It is also again Vat, Pitta, Shamak, and it is generally indicated in wasting and neurological conditions. In cases of vertigo also, we prescribe Vidyaradi Ghritham. Then we have Sukumar Rasayan. It is indicated for low backache and lumbar spondylosis. So to conclude, we can say tel and ghee are the excellent vehicle to carry medicine to Asthi and Majja Dhatu. Tiktaras Pradhan Dravyas, they have the ability to reach Asthi Dhatu and Anuvasan, Sneh, Matra Vasti. And all these kind of Vasti and Animas, they play indispensable role to reach the Asthi Dhara Kala. Dhara, Dhara, Sek, Avgahan, Abhyang, Murdh Tailam, Sthanik Vasti like Griva Vasti, Kati Vasti, Janu Vasti, Puro Vasti, Karnapuran, Akshi Tarpan, Nasyam, Talam, they all provide excellent result in Asthi Majjagat Vyadhi. So with these words, I thank you all for a patient listening and I really will welcome any kind of suggestion or any remarks from your side. And I am very much thankful to the organizers for giving me the opportunity to share my views. And thank you all. Thank you very much. If you have any kind of query, please feel free to reach me at dr.mani2008@gmail.com. I'll be more than happy. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Have a nice day, all of you.